should be going.
Welcome back to Awaiting the Shame Child, the Midgheim campaign. That's a joke because one of them wrote that on my map. Welcome back to Currents of War, the Midgheim campaign set during the Fourth Goblin War. Um, our humble heroes, when last we left
I
off.
did that.
Yeah, fuck me. Okay, so our heroes found a small village of trolls in the woods of the Belle Dormant. Um, the trolls were incredibly eloquent and intelligent individuals who held very mature and well-reasoned discussions with our heroes about the state of affairs and politics in the country. Um, one of their own had fallen ill, and our heroes decided to check on that poor sick troll. What followed was a very delicate medical procedure. Um, Ultimately, the patient's life could not be saved, but the spread of the disease was halted,
Yeah,
and the
Duck
village was
snuck
very
in and dropped a
grateful.
comment on the medical hut.
Comets are delicate medical instruments.
Yeah, I would say that's a very delicate medical procedure.
No wonder goblins are still around.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you survived all that. Um, Made friends with the trolls. Got them aware that there are like armies of humans dressed in red that they should probably deal with in a civilized manner. Um, and then decided to get out of Dodge because you were not sure that these creatures were safe to have a child around. And you do have one in your cart.
A shame
A
child.
child, not a troll.
Yeah, we don't have the equipment to bring a trolley-wog with us.
Don't call this innocent child a shame child.
Well,
No, that's what the map was. Remember, we were going to deploy her against Barbara, and she's the child who's gonna like
shame him.
chastise him.
We're deploying
Oh
the
yeah,
shame
she is.
child.
Yeah, we are going to deploy the shame child. You're right.
It came back to me after a bit.
I forgot I wrote that. Like, literally forgot I did that.
All right. As you leave the troll town and continue through the Belle Dormant on your way to the town of Merlot, you come to the vast hill-sized roots of the Ciel Arbre, a sky oak tree that has grown beyond the sapling stage in the area of Francaine. One of presumably a few children of the Yggdrasil, the largest known sky oak, which is to the far north in the kingdom of in the country of Germanor. The Ciel Arbre is one of the largest sky oaks outside of the Yggdrasil. I think only really surpassed in size besides Yggdrasil by the Hesperides. So it's a big fucking tree, and it certainly looks it when you're up close to it because the roots are literally bigger than houses, just in terms of diameter. As you approach the root system of this enormous piece of vegetation, you notice something strange. There are grooves carved out in the bark that are essentially stairs. Like they're good footholds for you to climb or even just walk your way up and around the trunk of the tree. And so you are presented with a unique opportunity of seeing Francaine from the vantage point of a sky oak.
Damn.
What do you do?
Not call a meteor.
I'd say that's probably a very good bet to not
Oh.
call a meteor on the magic tree.
That wasn't Duck actually saying that. She has some modicum of control. Um,
No, you're fine.
So we got ourselves a tree. We can go climbing. Now, I never got to go do this during the war, so if y'all don't mind me being a little bit of a tourist, I'm gonna go find out
I'm
what's
curious
on
about it too.
Yeah, what are we hoping to find in this tree anyway?
a really gorgeous view of the realm, and maybe a magic item or two.
It is a magical sky oak.
Flavian, you would know from your time spent as a well-traveled merchant of Frankane that sky oak twigs are like highly valued by wizards, especially conjurers, for their use as magic components. Same with their leaves, and if you can find any of their seeds, those are immensely valuable.
Ooh. Appealing to his greed, huh?
I'm just letting him know the
For a lifetime.
yeah.
So I think I got this back in one of the temples. Duck has a an amber vial from Hela,
Mhm.
but that, since she's a German or goddess, would Duck get an indication that might be like used around here? Or I can't remember what the vials was for, or if it was filled with anything.
That's a question. Let me look at my notes. What session 4 maybe?
Unfortunately, I did not write down. It just says amber vial gifted from Hela, and now I'm wishing I remembered more about that.
Yeah.
We were in one of the dungeons and found a secret branch in the first goblin town where it showed it was an older ruin that was once a temple to Hela,
Oh.
and you talked to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you, like, spoke and got a little thing. Though I don't know if it was ever clarified what that thing was, so.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. I've got to figure out what exact session that was.
Oh, first goblin. That would have been like 4?
No, just check that. I don't think it's that one. Okay.
I see what's happening.
Oh, okay. You're not going to find out what that does yet.
Okay. I was just wondering, since it is, they're both vaguely German or they're both German or based. I was just wasn't sure.
While you look at it, I will allow you to do a double insight check to just recall what you know about Germanorian gods and the Yggdrasil.
Okay. Double insight?
Mm-hmm. Double insight.
11.
Hey, that's good enough. So the Germanorian pantheon, or at least one of them, there are two, the Vanir and the Aesir, actually has a hall that resides in the uppermost boughs of the Yggdrasil, the Great Hall of Valhalla, where the spirits of the most powerful warriors of Germanor are gathered, to basically practice and hone their fighting skills and serve as ghostly warriors during the final great war of Ragnarok, when the world is supposed to end.
Yeah, the Einherjar.
Yep. And then Hela, the goddess of the dishonored dead, the dead who did not die in glorious combat, her realm is reached by traveling to the very tips of the roots of the Yggdrasil. That's where you find the underworld, where the Dishonored dead are allowed to go to a resting place that suits their moral nature.
That's why we found her temple underground.
Yeah. So traveling up a Sky Oak probably isn't going to bring you closer to Hela in any way.
So, but unless I found like a path deeper into the roots, that might be something.
Yeah, if you started digging down and following the roots, perhaps, but
Don't have time for that.
yeah, that's significantly more difficult. No one seems to have made stairs down, just stairs up.
Okay.
For some reason, no one wants to see the land of the dead before their time.
Unless you're a weirdo like a necromancer.
Damn necromancers.
We don't talk about that.
Well, we're climbing this thing. All of you keep an eye out for any seeds. I really want those if you see any.
Oh,
I'll keep an eye
Candy?
out.
being really British tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, that's appropriate, though.
As you travel up the sort of spiraling, I mean, really, there's only like it's like a staircase. Like someone carved a very wide staircase into the bark of the tree, and the tree is so huge that they were able to do this without significantly damaging it at all, which is again very strange. But world of magic and all that shit. As you walk on up the spiraling path, you are occasionally, you occasionally cross paths with fauna. And at first, it's the kind of things that you would expect to find high up. Like there's a good number of goats you pass by, the occasional like hawk resting in a groove. But the further you go up, the stranger it gets. At one point, you guys pass by an entire herd of deer. You're several dozen feet off the ground at this point, and it just like 10 deer walk past you.
For a moment, I forgot we were still on the roots, so I just imagine them walking vertically up the trunk. It's just like, that's odd.
Here, I'll do what they want.
You go further past them, and more strange things start being encountered. You see squirrels the size of cats running about. One of which does have what looks to be a seed or a nut from the tree.
Look to Flavian. Should we try to get that one?
Sorry, can you repeat that for me?
There's a
there's
squirrel
a-
the size of a cat with what looks to be a nut or acorn or something from the tree.
And Duck looks to you going, should we try to get that?
Yes, it's just a squirrel. What could it do? We faced way worse than that. Get me that nut.
Give me that! Jesus.
Duck almost fumbles the spell when you say that.
The squirrel's nuts. Grab them.
I'm good. Thanks,
I'm
though.
casting stop on the squirrel.
You freeze the squirrel in place.
Oh. Actually, do you have Soul Thief, Flavian?
Yes.
Now's your time to try it.
I don't have I'm on my phone because my computer's being a jerk,
Oh.
so I don't have roll 20 up at the moment.
Then should I try it?
Sure.
I feel bad because I'm always the one rolling it and we both have it. Oh no. I'm going to spend a fabulous point to re-roll that. Oh, damn.
Nice. You get that nut.
We're all 12 years old. It's fine.
Just whirling my way
Campaign
through
over,
this
everybody.
fabulous
We finally got our nut.
Oh my God.
thing. We're not scratched, so we're fine.
It's beautiful. Look at
Is
that.
this the kind you were looking for?
Is it the kind he was looking for?
It is, in fact, a sky oak seed. Asterisk. Slightly chewed.
Might have to dock the price a little bit because of some teeth damage, but this is exactly it.
Is
Yeah.
the squirrel like indignant after I froze it and stole its lunch?
It's still frozen.
Oh, I released it.
You got your nut!
Oh, God damn it. I released the squirrel.
The squirrel chitters angrily and runs up the trunk of the tree.
Hopefully it doesn't like come back with its squirrel buddies for revenge. Those things are like half my size. Those teeth are big.
I wish I had like an ominous music sting I could throw in there. Do 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 do. Hope it doesn't come back. Do 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 do.
Can before we leave, can Art put like a little bit of ration in the space where the nut was in the squirrel's paws as a sorry, mate.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
As you set the ration down, there's immediately a horrifying cawing as a massive raven, larger than like a normal-sized eagle, swoops down and immediately starts eating the rations while cawing loudly at you.
Oh wait, I can speak to these. And, she doesn't say that out loud, but she'd be able to understand if it's saying anything, and because she now has feral speech.
Art just looks at it like, that's not for you. You can keep that one.
Not for me! More!
No.
Starts pecking
No,
at you. Get more! Get more!
Art, is anyone else hearing this thing talk?
Yeah, I'm also hearing.
No, I meant the raven. Is anyone else hearing it talk, or is it just Duck?
That is a good question. It is.
I don't.
It just
Does anyone else have speak to birds?
No.
Nope.
Art, is anyone else hearing this thing talk? It says it wants more, but I think you can guess that already as it's attacking Art.
Hold on. I'll give some ration. Sit over there. I'll get you some more food, but you gotta stop pecking my skull.
Right, fuck off!
Okay, I understood that. Said fuck off.
All right, you being rude? No more food.
Ah, asshole!
Stop being rude. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get you some more food.
Flutters off.
No, we are doing great with the wildlife so far.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, that was just mildly a bird the size of a cart, but you know.
It was bigger than me. I probably could have ridden on that thing's back or been like food for its babies.
Food
Those
for
things eat. Those are carnivorous, right?
Ravens, yeah.
Like, no, that was just Duck asking, like, out loud.
Well,
That was a big bird. It freaked her out.
I did once watch a raven, and this is as Art's like going up the stairs. Actually, no, I shouldn't tell that story.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yes, they're carnivorous.
Well, Art, you would know. Duck has problems with large black birds, so.
Oh
that might
yeah,
have
no.
something to do with it.
No, that's absolutely fair. Art's remembering a story of a time he watched a raven pluck a frog mid-jump, and realized who he was talking to, so he shut up.
Oh God, that.
Yeah, that would wouldn't be a good story to tell Duck.
No.
I had a neighbor
God, I'm
once
sure,
that said. I had a neighbor once that said if Raven was swallowing his chicken chicks, got himself a goose
Oh.
after that.
Lovely. I'm sure there are like stories back in Fairyland or just among goblin like tribes about watch out for the herons, the baby snatchers, in complete contrast to the thing about storks bringing humans babies.
Because they eat frog and
Mhm.
frogs. The implications are terrifying, actually.
Yeah. Which is why I almost went with before I picked Duck Heron for the Blood Knight goblin. Anyways, so we're walking.
Well,
Yep. You move up the roots of the tree, and eventually you come to the actual base of the trunk. You're nearly 100 feet off the ground at this point. And as you look down, you can see like over the rest of the treetops, the Beldormont Woods. You can actually see sort of the troll village nestled in there. As you look out, you can see in the distance Javaur, Castle Broche, and Relicon. You can see Colette Flock, although the goblin village there is completely obscured by the foliage around it. It's a beautiful sight, and as you look around, you notice something across the Guivier River. Nestled in the trees is a fortress of goblin make.
huh?
Hidden from most perspectives, but from up this high, you can actually see it nestled deep in a valley.
Is that marked on that map?
It's
Suspected goblin locations.
It's not on your list of suspected goblin locations because it's across the river, which means it's over in Bretance. But it's not burnt. It's not ruined. It's very well hidden from all perspectives save the one that you're currently at. And it's huge.
Does it look the same size as of the Grumbouge's place? Since Duck would have comparison.
I mean, you haven't seen the strong. Well, yeah, actually, you have. It looks comparable to the Grumbouge's stronghold. Yeah, you got kicked out of it. I was just thinking like your characters haven't gone there in this campaign, but you have because in the past. So yeah, it is as big, if not bigger, than the stronghold of the Grumboog.
Do we think that's worth going and checking out? That would have to get across the river, and I'm sure.
You'd have to go into Bretance. And that's kind of like going into the Dragon's Den. But if there's a lot of power at that fort, they could be crucial in providing a nice pincer movement on the Bretance army if you had some other forces coming at them from another side.
And they could take the bridge, cutting off the Treadscar bridge.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing to remember.
If they haven't fallen to red caps.
Mm-hmm. Also true. As you sit at the base of the trunk of the Ciel Arbre, you look up a ways and you see that up the winding path along the trunk now, there is a very large hole bored into the side of the tree. Calling it a hole, in fact, is probably underselling it. It's essentially a cave.
Does it look natural or carved? Whittled?
It's definitely carved because the tree doesn't develop holes on its own. Something had to bore this into the thick bark and wood of the tree.
Well, you know what? Why not?
There could be more seeds in there.
Absolutely, there could be. It'd be a very good place for squirrels to hide nuts.
Also, there might be a place to tap for sap. Might be something useful made out of that.
That is
Pierre
true.
might know something.
Sap.
Sky oak sap,
No one's ever tried that before.
probably a very good ingredient.
Now,
Yeah, we should go in.
onwards and upwards.
Alright.
Now I'm switching what kind of British voice I'm doing. This is just going to be a fun night, isn't it?
You climb into the hole of the Sky Oak. This massive, essentially cave that's been carved into this mountain-sized tree. And as you walk in, you find something that you probably didn't expect to find up here. Gold nuggets.
Wow.
And mixed with them, gems. Some sapphires, some rubies, even a couple of diamonds. And the further you go in, the more these sort of litter the floor.
I think Art's going to put a hand onto Flavian's shoulder for a second. And just be like, no, I know the gut instinct, but something was strong enough to carve a hole into a tree the size of a mountain and have treasure littered around. There's one thing that really likes to do that.
Duck's sneaking ahead as you're talking to Flavian.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but
She's not
I
going
mean,
for the pile yet, but she's like circling around it.
ka-ching already, we can just take a little bit, right?
Flavian,
As
Flavian, I'll mean this as most as I can. When has ever stealing from a dragon's hoard been a wise decision?
When you kill the dragon after? You guys can do that, right? Yeah. Right?
No.
Although maybe Moncher would feel a little weird about it. But then again, Moncher apparently has done this before, so maybe he's the perfect guy for it. What do you think, Moncher?
Oh my god. Not share over there contemplating homicide.
Duck, as you sneak forward, you find that this cave is a lot deeper than you would have thought looking at the surface, and actually very winding. You start to find branching paths to different chambers, and don't go too far because you don't want to get lost and separated from your group,
Yeah,
especially if there is a dragon. But in one chamber, you find about a dozen skeletons of humans wearing armor that has large spiked barbs on it.
Similar to the Dragon Slayer armor I saw on Garston and his minions.
That I peeled out of like a fucking.
Yeah.
They're kind of posed at sitting up, almost like a collection of action figures, except these are corpses. These are skeletons.
Yeah. This
in
is someone's
armor.
this is someone's trophy room. Deck's gonna sneak back down and just like do the hurried little scurry back and goes, hey,
Stop.
this is definitely a dragon's horde.
Stop. As you
Stop.
sneak back to them and say, "Hey, you look behind them
Right
towards
here,
the entrance, and you see a very large dragon. Roughly the size of an elephant, in terms of overall mass. Long neck with a sort of short head, but at the tip of its snout is a ridiculously long horn that's thick at the base and very narrow at the tip. Almost like it has a full-on lance attached to its nose. It has a stout, muscular body with long-ish for a large dragon legs that are still very muscular and live, and a tail that's whipping back and forth. Its wings are flared out in a threat display, but its eyes aren't fixed on all of you; they're fixed on Mon Cher.
Ooh.
Its reptilian mouth opens, its forked tongue flicks out between its teeth, and it begins to hiss and gurgle and growl. And most of you don't speak dragon.
I have learned that with feral speech.
With feral speech, you know you are able to understand dragon words. And Art, as you hear these hisses and turn around and see a fucking dragon behind you, your brain foggily recollects that a lot of these noises sound familiar, and you remember one time when your wife tried to teach you a secret language that you just were not able to physically pronounce with your human tongue and throat.
What is your wife? Jesus
Dragon
Christ.
wife.
You Art, you're only catching a few words. Duck, you're hearing. What are you doing here, scavenger? This is my hole.
Does Mon Cher hear that too? Or understand?
Yeah. Well, Mon Cher hears it, but Mon Cher doesn't speak dragon.
Oh.
Mon Cher can physically speak dragon, but Mon Cher hasn't learned their language. Mon Cher's a human. So Mon Cher, you turn around and see a dragon hissing and gurgling at you. While Duck, you hear that it's asking Mon Cher questions that he's just not responding to.
Oh, JD, you there?
JD? Uh-oh.
He's been quiet for a while. JD, if you've been talking, you might be muted. We aren't ignoring you. Or he stepped up.
Hopefully he comes back.
A dramatically potent place to pause.
I think Art's gonna lean down towards Flavian and whisper into his ear. So I didn't pick most of that up, but I picked here and what. But I think it's directed over there at our dragon and looking friend. So I think we might be, relatively speaking, in the clear for the moment.
Just don't drag its attention towards us. Don't touch anything.
Now, I think it's going to be a right shit show here in a minute with, Flavian. Because this guy don't recognize that that Mon Cher's a human. And I don't know if Mon Cher can speak dragon.
He can't.
Good to know.
This is gonna be bad.
Duck, just see.
This just said this is gonna be bad.
The
I mean-
dragon's head whips back and forth. Why did you bring all these two legs into my house?
I want to step forward without Shady here, but Duck, being the only one who can understand, she kind of like stepped forward and just hoping that it can understand her, going, "Well, hold on. Sorry, he's hard of hearing. He can't hear you, but I can translate."
It's hard of hearing.
She looks at you. Goblin?
Yeah.
Her wings flare up again as she lowers her head. She says, "Not taking my house."
No. We were just exploring. We didn't know anybody lived here. We stepped in, saw what was here, and we were very quickly deciding to leave once we realized that this is a dragon's lair. Right, everybody? The Duck looking at
Right.
everybody like, "Please back me up."
Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, we immediately saw it and went, huh, this is probably a dangerous situation.
Oh yeah, I'm
We
ready
were
to leave
just-
all
We were just looking for more of these, and Duck will hold up the acorn.
She tilts her head. And you see her serpentine eyes thinking.
Honestly, we hate dragon slayers. I saw your collection back there. Grugan, show him the armor.
You look
Have
Sure.
it.
at my treasures?
I didn't touch. That's what I mean. I didn't know anybody was here.
Her ear flaps flip open.
Oh God.
Oh,
Not polished, not ready.
Oh, my friend here points to art, and my friends here, they know how to polish. They know how to make armor look good. Just look at their armor. Point to Art and Grugan's.
to be fair, Art's been in the weird goblin armor for forever, so it is like that shiny brass horn stuff we picked up a while back.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Mine.
It's nice and shiny. Duck is just trying to be like, we can help. Please don't eat us.
We can help shine that shit up.
She bristles, continues to flare out, and finally, in a fit of aggression, charges.
Oh shit.
Oh no. I tried.
It's fine. I'm sure.
I mean, we told the dragon we
Just
wouldn't touch
pretend this is in a tree.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a Panzer Dragoon Orta horn when he described it.
Okay, I guess we rolled an initiative.
there, Shady.
Doing really well on initiative.
That's pretty good.
Apparently.
I'm not seeing any messages that I miss. I was gonna text him real quick.
Also, Flavian, I learned a little bit of dragon from my wife. Never could really nail it down, though. I don't think we've got the throat structures.
How'd your wife know dragon?
Smart lady.
Yeah.
Your fucking wife's a failure.
Now, sometimes with all the things you say, I'm not really convinced you even had a wife. I think you
I
just
got a
kind of
wife.
making it.
I had a wife. Excuse. I had a lovely wedding on the outskirts of town, and everybody came. It was a wonderful time. I even got to my wife threw the bouquet, and it almost made a crater. It was funny. Landed in the hay bale.
Okay, Shady,
See, now-
Shady will be back on in a minute. We can go, but keep playing this interaction first.
Okay.
See, now I know you're making this all up because I've never met any husband that actually could remember anything about his wedding day.
You remember things like that when you've died.
Oh my god.
When you're holding your stomach out, bleeding to death in a pointless war. Oh no, I'm going to lose.
Eh,
That's not
The
the
dragon's
word.
just watching us have this conversation like,
What the hell did I walk into?
God, the mammals talk a lot.
yeah, I'm amphibian.
You know what? I'm gonna start writing down the words that I know in dragon so I don't forget. Because I do think one of the ones he's gonna say sorry and like his best attempt at draconic, and then just go back and be like, look, I'm just saying, I had a wife, we had a lovely wedding, we had lovely times that I don't talk about because back in my day it was rude to talk about your conjugal visits with your wife, but I know she was real. We had a wonderful evening, and I have no idea where she is, and she's probably dead for all I know.
I feel like when you're saying I know she was real about your wife, it's kind of a if heavily leans towards the opposite being true.
yeah. Kind of sounds like you could have made her up in your dying fantasy. If it was a pointless war, how do you know you didn't just make up this whole backstory of yourself as you lay dying? Just that your life had at least some sliver of meaning.
Fellas, dragon pissed off at us.
Anyways, you won the initiative order.
Oh my god.
Talking is a free action.
Who wants to go first?
I kind of want to look at Duck and go, is she really gonna?
She's pissed that we're here, and I admitted that I saw her collection, which wasn't ready, wasn't polished yet, so I tried to say that you'd be able to help, and oh god.
She doesn't want you telling people that her house is dirty.
Oh. I think she's embarrassed.
Yeah, all right.
The only thing I can think of for Duck is maybe trying to use stop again.
Mm-hmm. I am going to say this. You have 3 targets on this particular fight. The dragon itself, and then its 2 wings.
If nobody minds me going first,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna use Blade Storm and multi-attack, and I'm going to aim for the wings. I know how dragons work. So that's an extra 5 damage. Also,
Right. That does hit. So, 9 damage. Very nice. She did not care for that.
I didn't think she would.
Okay. Does 24 hit you, Grugan?
Yes.
All right. You take
Oh, geez.
37 physical damage as she drives her nose horn right into you.
Oh, Jesus.
37.
37.
All right.
How you doing, Grugan?
I like what the music got somber right there.
2 above my crisis.
Oh, jeez.
Dang.
Okay.
I could try doing that stop so she gets one less attack during her turn.
Sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Well, hit her magic.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So she'll make one less attack during this round.
All right, that's good. She didn't care for that either.
And Duck will be just being like, "Wait, please! This is all a misunderstanding. We didn't mean to."
All right. Does anyone's magic defense hit by 12?
Think so. Double check.
It matches, so probably yes.
Oh, it's one over.
Yep, I'm
Alright.
hit.
Okay.
I
Well,
can't even succeed on a crit fail.
you take 11. Oh, wait, she did crit fail. Never mind. That's an automatic failure. You guys get an opportunity.
Oh shit. Good.
Oh, what was that opportunity we used last time to get the trolls on our side?
A faux pas, but there's nobody here to do that against. Let's see here.
Yeah.
You could give her a status effect, reduce her might die by 1 size.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
It's an idea, gang.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll give her a status effect. That'd be a good one.
All right, you reduce her might die by 1 size.
It's probably good.
Was that the weak status?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Does anyone mind if I go?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
So Art is going to point a finger, and as best as I can, in a dad voice, like, "Look, I understand we interrupted. We weren't ready, but you're being very rude right now, and unhospitable, and that's not polite."
I'm giving you a -4 penalty because you did not speak fluent Draconic.
Fine.
And also you don't have a worm's tongue, so it's going to be very hard to pronounce it, but you do know well. So it's a -4 penalty to whatever you got to roll for this.
It's an opposing check with inspiration and willpower.
Oh, okay.
Insight
then I
and
can-
willpower. So let me do a -4.
She is uncondemned. Because what she hears is, you got me the character
Hold on a second. Let me check something. So that -4 actually wouldn't apply because I gain a
Oh.
bonus equal to my skill level, which is 4.
Oh,
So that would be an 11.
damn. Well, something about the way you convey your words, despite them being gibberish, does manage to give her pause. And she loses 40 mind points.
40 mind points, and I'm gonna go with dazed because I'm speaking gibberish.
Okay.
feel bad, but I don't know why.
She
Dazed
suddenly
attack.
weakened. And
Dazed. Dazed hurts your willpower, right? Or is that your insight?
Daze is insight.
Okay. All right, good to remember. She has you shout at her, feels really confused, and decides to take flight, making it that you can't hit her with melee attacks anymore until she grounds herself.
Question about that.
Yeah.
Would I be able to hit her? Since I can
You're
fly?
capable of flight, yeah.
Oh shit. It's like in Stories 2, when you have two flying monsters.
Kick her ass.
Also, I am back.
Welcome back. Kick her ass, Moncher.
So, what's the gist that I missed?
Well, you guys explored this big hole in the tree. Turns out it was a cave filled with gold. And in one chamber, a bunch of Dragon Slayer carcasses and armor that were posed like action figures. And then a big fucking dragon showed up at the entrance of the cave and found all you weird two-legs walking about. She focused on you specifically and started talking to you in dragon speak, which you don't understand because you don't know the language of dragons, you just know about killing them.
Mhm.
Which made her very upset. Duck tried to talk her down. Arthur remembered a few phrases of dragon that his wife taught him, but not super well. Duck tried to talk the dragon down, but accidentally let slip that she had seen the dragon's loot room, which made the dragon very embarrassed because she hasn't had time to clean yet and was not expecting company, and does not want these fuckers to go around telling everyone that her house is dirty. So she attacked. And also, this is what I would have given you this before the battle started. While you may not know dragon language, as a person who studied with it, to be a dragon slayer and trained with one of the greatest dragon slayers of all time, you recognize her as specifically a pit dragon, which are a clade of dragons that they're kind of mid-sized as dragons go. They're still very large, like they're the size of elephants, but dragons can get much bigger than that. Pit dragons are renowned particularly for their extreme territoriality. They're sort of the badgers of the dragon world, where it's not uncommon to see a pit dragon chasing much larger dragons out of its territory just by being such an aggressive little fucker.
And she called
comparatively,
Monstera a scavenger.
she called you a scavenger, which your species of dragon is scavenging. And she tried to ask what you were doing in her cave, and then she got territorial, as pit dragons do. Pit dragons tend to fight, until they are disabled, and often, to the death. They, once they get riled up, they are very hard to calm down. And you even recall, I'm giving you all this for free because you are a dragon slayer. This is shit you would know. Because pit dragons are fairly common as dragons go, too. Most pit dragons are so named because they dig out pits to sleep in, little subterranean caverns. But there are a couple of species that instead use those same adaptations to carve out caves in sky oaks.
Gokes.
So this is essentially a woodpecker pit dragon.
Hence the horn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which, did how much damage, Grugan? 34?
37 fucking damage, yeah.
Wait, 37 or 47?
37.
37.
Okay.
Although if she had rolled the highest possible high roll, that would have been 42 damage.
So
Alright.
isn't, super happy about being hit by that, but
Okay.
he did hit her first, so
Oh, and there are 3 targets here: her 2 wings and then her body.
Okay. So, to try and get her down to the ground, Monchair is going to go for one of her wings. Hubba.
That is not enough.
Yeah,
hit.
that scans.
She snarls at
Not a
you.
point.
She doesn't want to ground herself, so she's going to furnace belch upon maybe the one who condemned her. That's weirding her out. Yeah.
I love that that's the problem.
Art, does 10 hit you? Hit your magic defense?
No.
Yay! Well, you managed to nimbly sidestep a large gout of flame. And I think that's been 4 attacks from her, so she's done for this round. Because of slow.
Oh, good.
Low.
Just Flavian left?
I think so. I think you're also the only one that can hit her because you have ranged it besides Monchair.
Yeah.
Although Duck has
And I-
magic, so...
Because of stop, I don't think she gets an attack after Flavian.
Yeah, which is good. She doesn't need any.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Flavian's gonna attack with the silver crossbow. He's gonna shoot at the right wing.
Alright.
Oof.
That does not hit. She looks annoyed at you. Top of the round, one of you gets to go first.
Anybody want to go? I mean,
I can try. If that's cool with everyone.
go for it.
Bring her
Go ahead.
down.
Alright. Yep. Let's go for that left wing.
I'm sorry to say that's like just barely not enough to hit.
Don't forget
I'm
Fat
gonna-
Point.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend a fat point to reroll try and reroll that 3.
Alright.
Get another 9. Get a crit.
Come on. You know you want to.
Almost.
8!
That hits.
Hell yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, when she's focused on Flavian, Monchair is going to come at her from behind and just hit her broadside on the wing.
She does not care for that. She looks at you, Monchair, and she hisses and gurgles at you like a pissed off snake crocodile. Art, you hear what she says and you vaguely recall that being a swear. Duck,
Back here.
you hear what she says, and it's definitely a swear. It is like she basically like, you vile pig fucking class traitor.
Oh, wow.
Wow!
Wow!
That's a duck goes. She's just like, whoa.
Holy shit! What'd she say?
I'm not saying that.
Should I be insulted?
Very.
Fuck!
The nice part of that was calling you a race traitor.
Yeah,
So-
you know what? Fuck it. It's not a smart move, but she's a pet dragon. She is going to. Does 25 hit you, Mon Cher?
I
Oof.
have. Thanks to. Okay, hold on. So I have. Wait, is that magical or physical?
That's physical.
Okay. Yes.
Alright. She gores you with her horn for 37 damage.
Ah!
Jesus.
In the process of doing that, she grounds both herself and you. You can get up on your next turn, no problem, because of your quirk.
So, TT,
Yeah.
combat ritual. I'm looking at the rules on like page 118, and since I have chimerism now, one of the things it says is quelled the fury of a monster. That's one of the examples for a ritual in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it, it will be pricey because would fall under a major, which is an influence emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a difficulty level 13, magic of 40. But the thing that really says whether or not I can cast it, because it might be beyond me, is the area. It's individual, is a human-sized creature, door, tree, weapon, etc. But a small, which is double the MP, is a few human-sized creatures, a large creature, small clearing, room, etc.
It's gonna qualify as a small in this case. It's as a large creature.
Even if I had all my MP, I would not have it because that would be 80 MP. I cannot do what I thought.
Unless you get like one of those Entropus abilities that allows you to drain MP.
No, I mean I have the Entropus ability where I regain HP MP. No, my max MP is 77.
Wow.
So like even if I was completely full, I am 3 short.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Good
thing
thought,
to remember
though.
for later, though. Yeah, like and then you give it time. You might find some things to help you work up to that.
And I level up 3 more times, and it'll be.
Mhm.
But only other thing I can think of is try stop again. I don't really have, because I think trying to soul steal from her might just make things even worse.
But it would be very funny.
I would
Do it.
probably get some good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I can do an entropic rit. No, it would be too much. Yeah, I can't. Teleporting someone would be the same thing because it's like, wait, I have entropic rituals. I could teleport her away and just be like, "You get the fuck out of here." But nope. Sorry, I'm wasting time.
No, you're good.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, to discuss strategy.
Mm-hmm. Gotta see all our options.
Duck is feeling really bad. She doesn't want to kill this thing.
I don't think anybody.
She
any of us do.
was a professional burglar. She wasn't a professional house invader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you stole from assholes.
Man, this is just a conscientious dragon. Duck is. Oh, actually, I don't want to take your time. Anybody else have an idea? Otherwise, Duck might just try talking to it.
All I was
Moncher is
gonna
currently
do-
gored.
All I was gonna do is withstand, so I can get some more hit points back. Actually, that's all I'm gonna do.
All right.
I'm gonna toot a
Uh,
horn at it.
She's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
rear up.
Oh no!
It's 22 hit everyone's magic defense.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's 18 fire damage.
hold
Ow.
on.
I half that, right? Because I am guarding.
Yes.
And I have that with resistance. What was the amount? 22?
It was 18.
18?
Yeah.
Yes! I barely don't get hit. Woo!
She did a group
Still
hit
go
attack
worse.
earlier. Ooh, oh wait, that was the crit fail. Never mind. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
18.
Oof.
Ow. I'm a frog. I don't like to be sizzled.
So what happened is Grugan used withstand and got 9 hit points back, and then he just lost them again. You guys, you suck.
He basically resisted the damage.
My might die does go up to a 12, so you're gonna get it in a minute.
Oh, hey, I'm in crisis. I'm in danger.
Yeah, you know, dragons are dangerous.
So, I think Art, Duck, and Flavian still.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, if no one's gonna jump up and volunteer, I'm gonna figure out how to doot this. We didn't talk about how this works in.
Oh, you set it up as an attack.
You roll your insight dice twice and add 5. And then if you succeed on that roll, it's a physical attack. You know, sound. Well, I actually let's treat it as a magic attack because it's sound. So then it's your insight +5 against their magic defense, and the high roll +4 is wind damage to all enemies present. And then they're deafened.
Well, that's gonna. That's not gonna be able to talk to it now.
So that's an 11 to hit.
That hits. Damn, we are debuffing the fuck out of this dragon.
So that is 7 wind damage. And yeah.
I mean, she's not completely deaf. She just, is going to hear less well.
Pull upon the ancient skeletal lore of Doot Doot. That is my turn.
All right. Very disoriented, very pissed off. She's gonna furnace belch on Art and his weird suit of armor.
It's above a 12, it hits.
It does hit. So you take 26 fire damage.
Oof! I'm down to 12.
Well, we'll go next. Time for some quick alchemy. Spending 4 IP, I get to roll 3d20s. Okay. Oh, my choices. Let me double check. Oh, so I could heal us, or I could give us all air and fire resistance.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think healing might be the best thing to do right now, given
People are low.
yeah.
I'm not in crisis, but I'm close. Next hit will definitely put me in it. Probably put me in single digits.
Oh.
Easy.
Easy.
Oh, okay. Want to go with healing? Okay,
Yeah.
so the 15 applies to all of us, selecting that roll, and then I'm going to use the any effect for 30 hit points, plus an additional due to a skill I have. So we all gain 40 hit points.
Ooh,
Back up roll
Nice.
for me.
shame.
Thanks, Flavian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I only have enough IP to do that one more time.
She takes her turn to fly into the air.
Fucker.
Question: Is Monchair still cord on her horn?
No, you're off.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not
Mm,
taking
so-
you with her.
Doug's turn. Doug feels bad about this.
You fucking meteoring this dragon.
No, Omega. That's what I was using against the Tarrasque.
Still.
I'm aiming for the wing. Whichever wing looks more damaged.
You ground her. Both her wings, 'cause they were both at the same level, and that's enough to. Well, it only hit one target.
It just target one creature.
Okay, so one of her wings is broken. She's
Oh.
still limping up, but she's flying badly now.
I feel bad.
Should you? Should you, though?
Yeah,
Healing to
we.
extend.
I mean, yeah.
She is the.
Our big enemy is a Dragon Slayer. We don't want to do his job for him.
I mean, she started it.
Yeah.
We just wanted to leave.
Oh,
She didn't
and
let us.
she would say you started it by breaking into her house and seeing how dirty everything was.
Yeah, that's why Duck feels guilty. She feels like we could have walked out of here if if Duck didn't mention the whole, oh yeah, I saw your Dragon Slayer stuff. We hate Dragon Slayers. It's like, you saw my collection in disarray. No!
I would feel more bad if that wasn't like the most psychotic housewife thing you could ever do.
They can't know we sit.
I don't want anyone to know that people live in this house.
There must be no dust ever.
No,
Don't
Bill.
breathe.
Damn pillows.
Do not breathe in my house.
Coasters.
So I think it's her turn at the top of the round.
Yeah.
Because I just broke her wing.
She's going to
Sorry.
spend her turn maintaining her flight, and reassessing how this is going. She might be having some second thoughts.
Seeing that, can Duck yell if talking is a free action? Or she's
I
no
will
longer
allow
deafened?
you. I will allow you to make a double willpower check to try and convince the dragon to stand down.
Double willpower.
Mm-hmm.
My willpower's okay. Let's see. Just shouting at it. Please, we don't want to fight. We didn't know anybody was here. We just want to leave. $13.
Okay.
Yay!
Um, against everything Moncher has been taught about this variety of dragon, the pit dragon, feeling how battered her body is by all this, her one wing hanging very limply as it tries to help off of the other. She lands with a loud thud, pants. Fine. Leave. And makes way for you to exit her cave.
All right.
Flavian, would you be able to? Oh, well, we probably won't be able to get your inventory points back if we. Flavian, is there any way we could try healing her? Wait, I have a remedy potion I could just toss at her. I could use my inventory points.
Yeet the potion. Yeet it!
And Duck will just roll it over to her. Not like throwing it. I only throw overhand, Charles. But no, she just rolls it across the wooden floor, just being like, "I don't want to fight, damn it."
She pants, and like you can see the workings of her mind behind her viper eyes as she thinks about it. And
Duck, just because I can't resist the joke, will point to Grugan and goes, "Just because he's spiky doesn't mean he's a dragon slayer. Doesn't work."
She gives sort of a weak nod of her long head and says, "Sorry."
Honor that one.
I have
Flavian.
a temper.
Understandable. I mean, we did walk into your home and start looking at stuff when we weren't invited, so I get it.
An excuse. If rude. You fight good.
So do you. That was very painful, very quickly.
Oh God, you.
And Duck looks to the rest of the group, goes, "She is complimenting our skill in fighting."
Thank you.
She raises her head high and puffs out her chest, her wings receding onto her back in a non-threat display. And she's like, "Yes, I fight very well."
Well,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and goes, "If you don't mind, we're still a little dinged up. If you don't mind, we'll just like to sit maybe at the door and just kind of take a moment to catch our breath, and then we'll leave you alone. We didn't mean to,
She cocks her head. Go to the Yetin.
The Yetin? Does that sound familiar to anybody?" Duck says out loud.
does it, Game Master?
No, none of you have heard the phrase Yetin before.
Duck will look back and go, "I'm not familiar with that. Is that a person or a place?"
She thinks, and then turns towards the exit of the cage and says, "Follow."
Oh. She wants us to follow her.
Alright.
You guys follow this massive dragon as she climbs up the stairs carved into the trunk of the Ciel Arbre. And eventually you find, as you're climbing up, you see that on some of the lower branches hanging above you of the tree, there are actually some catwalks that have been made, some like bridges connecting the branches that you're looking at from the underside. And eventually she leads you up to those very branches and you see essentially a tree house that's also a zoo.
Oh,
Just on these giant branches, which you have to think like they're the size of like, you know, a suspension bridge. These branches of this tree. On these giant branches are a bunch of paddocks where there are all sorts of fauna indigenous to Francaine. Some very common, like, you know, deer and bears and whatnot, and then some of the rarer ones like camelopards and olifants, and lucrotas and cathanegs, lions and tigers and pards. Oh my, all of these things, and eventually, as the dragon leads you through this pre-zoo, you see a figure standing about 15 to 20 feet in height, wearing a sort of white coat or robe over his body and a tall white hat. Just this ogre. I've got very loose character art for him. It's not really polished enough, but it's what I was able to get done over the weekend. Ogres are generally really stoutly built and broad. This is essentially an ogre twink.
yeah.
Hold on,
Like, by ogre standards, he's very lithe and thin, and he's wearing well, there's no wizards among you, so he's wearing white robes with red diamonds on them, and he has a very like tall collar on his red cloak. And
I do
as
have the
drag
focus.
as the
Wait,
dragon
wait.
approaches,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. As the dragon approaches with all of you, he looks at her first and says, "Oh, hello, Pity. I'm not. I don't have my little helper with me, so I'm gonna have to speak to you in Frankish. But, are you well?" And then his eyes see you guys. Oh, you brought little friends.
Well,
Hello, he says as he bends over to speak to you. I'm Francis.
Hello, Francis.
Pleasure to meet you, Francis.
Hello there.
I
Hello.
The dragon hisses. These ones are hurt. I go now. And then she turns away and leaves.
Oh, and what was the dragon's name that he called her?
He called her Pity, but
Oh, Pit Dragon.
yeah, it's probably not her actual name. I'll give you this for free. Generally, when people with human tongues, like humans or ogres, try to speak dragon, they just can't do it. They don't have the voice box and tongue for it. So dragons often, when they interact with human speakers often enough, take on a second name that humans can pronounce.
mm,
Often a name they don't care very much about.
Is that what Scrunch was?
Yes.
Although it would be funny if that just happened to be a name that was perfectly legible in both human and serpent. But Jack will just kind of like, as it's leaving, just kind of like, "Hey, again, sorry, did not mean to cause a problem." And she'll reach into her pack and pull out like, "Here, this looks like it would go with your collection," and holds out like one of the various gems she's stolen over time.
She looks at it, quickly snatches it out of your hands with her jaws, which is a little frightening because her head's the size of your torso.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the horn just whipping over her head, like hearing that.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh fuck."
and when she says with a jewel in her lips, "Thank you," before trotting down.
Yes. Okay.
And Francis looks at you and is like, "Wow, it's not often that people make friends with Pity."
It wasn't easy.
Friends might be loose. Had to
I mean, she,
break bones on both sides, I think.
she brought you here, and you're not dead, so that's pretty close to friendship with her, I think.
That's for sure. Pleasure to meet you. My name's Art, and these are my friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a little skeleton man.
That I am.
Well, nice to meet you, Art and friends.
Hi,
Pity
I'm
said you're
Deck.
hurt.
Yeah, we got into a little disagreement.
We
accident.
roughhouse.
Harsh words were exchanged.
This is true. Harsh words were exchanged.
He nods understandingly. Well, here, and he takes out a large staff, which in his hands is sort of like a magic wand, and waves it over you all and casts some healing magic, restoring you up to full.
Hey. Also, oh no, he's really strong.
Nothing for IP though.
No, but this does look
The
like the kind of
MP?
place you could. Not right now, but does look like the kind of place where you could probably get a genuine full rest.
Okay.
Like, it's a zoo, but there's a house built for a giant, an ogre, and thus big enough where you could probably find a place to sleep and nestle in and be safe and get a good restoring rest.
Not roll off the edge.
Yeah.
Quick question here. Does anything in particular of his menagerie that he has built up look like it's magical in nature?
Yeah, like Lucrotas are arcane creatures, Cathanegs are arcane, panthers, lions, tigers, and leopards essentially. There are arcane giraffes and elephants, camelopards and ulefants. Arcane stags. There are some barghest, some arcane wolves. Like he's keeping a very large variety of creatures, all of which are native to Francane.
That's fair.
Did you want to talk to any of them?
No, it's not that. And apologies, new friend. I may be a little wary. We have a legend back way home from where I am about a human lord who made his own little menagerie, but his britches got too big for him, and he tried to put dragons in the menagerie, and it got out. It's a local Summerly tale.
He says, "Well, I have not heard many Summerly stories.
There's not a whole lot, to be fair. Just the big one, usually.
I mostly just stay in my tree. No, I don't have any dragons kept here. Dragons are pretty good at fending for themselves."
No, that's fair. That's fair. Just as a heads up, because I think if I remember right, that mountain worm still lives in the mountains.
Or her children do, one of the two. No, this isn't a menagerie. It's I don't know if there's a word for it. A sanctuary, I guess.
Oh, nice.
He shows you. He's like, all of these are some of the creatures that make our country so special. And well, I've noticed that he bites his lip. Two of you are human. At least I'm assuming you're a human, Mr. Skeleton Man, Arthur. So I don't want this to sound judgmental, but you guys kill a lot of animals.
Yeah, the living people tend to have a habit of that.
You drive a lot of them out of their homes and wipe them out. There's sometimes where people go and slaughter whole packs of barghest. It's it's not great. It's not doing well for the environment, you know?
I can't imagine, no.
So I thought, what if someone tried to counteract that? What if they tried to look after all of them and make sure that we keep good populations up? And I think I've been doing a really good job. The Belle Dormont Woods have had a very thriving population, and when people overhunt wolves or deer, I just release some of the ones I've been raising up here, and everything stabilizes.
That's fair. It's a smart way of handling it too. But would you be upset if I passed word that you were doing that? Because I don't think the people recognize what's happening, so they're just going to keep on doing it because they think the woods are forever replenishing.
He thinks about it. Well,
If you don't want me to, I
guess,
won't.
do you think that they'd be mad?
No, but I think if we went, hey, there was almost nothing in the woods because we've hunted them many times, and without the help of a wonderful friend of ours, there wouldn't be any animals left, would be kind of a shell shocker to some of them. Help push some human side preservation stuff.
As an aside, DM, don't we know the hunting lodge, or am I thinking of the previous campaign?
No, you do. You do know the hunting lodge that is trying to, like, when you went to Relican, the hunting lodge there. You know, you know a couple of hunting lodges, but like in Relican, there was sort of like a group trying to scout out the Belle Dormont Woods, and one of the things they mentioned was that it has a very high population of and variety of wildlife. So that's actually one of the mysteries they're trying to solve is like how does it keep being so diverse in these woods?
Oh, well,
and why is it
mystery
so
solved.
resistant to our efforts to tame it?
Well, mystery solved, and that's probably not a good answer to give them.
We'll workshop it on our way back to talking to him.
There's actually there's a related problem. And Francis goes over to the edge of one of the branches and points out to the Colette flock. I deal mostly with land animals, but I've noticed that a lot of the animals in the lake over there are gone.
Oh, yeah, so you can tell this one if you want.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
We had water horses and swamp krakens, and they're all gone now.
That would be because of an artificial chimera that was created. That's recalled in the Tarrasque. What were the various parts? Duck, I can't recall there's a dragon, a heavy dragon, a turtle shell dragon, a large, looks like a lion.
Lion, dragon, and then a Festita Cologne, which is a type of island turtle.
Yeah. So Duck would look to the group to fill those details in and be like,
yeah.
It's huge and ravenous, and I think it might still be growing, and we're trying to figure out what to do about it. We have it not tamed, but we know how to keep it from attacking settlements now and ships, but we're also trying to get the humans to help with maybe donating some of their cattle and stuff to keeping it fed so it's not, attacking people, and now I guess wiping out the ecosystem.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just
And to put it for big perspective, you would be small next to it.
Oh, Moncher, the shield, the scute that I pulled from it.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, it's like that was just one of the shell scales, one of the small ones I managed to pull from it.
Oh, so it is made out of acetylcologne. Oof. That's not good. You can't support that in the lake.
We're wondering if there's somewhere we can point it. I know that most of them live in the ocean.
Well, if it's that large, I think you'd have to find some place where behemoths live to have enough food to support it.
It did dig up a sleeping one on the island.
And okay, I can try and raise some more olifants. That could give us some sort of staple crop, but that's going to be difficult to balance that. And we're going to need replacements for the creatures that are in the lake, because without those creatures, many of the animals on land that feed on the various fish whose populations are controlled, it's going to have disastrous effects.
Yeah.
Um,
But it might be worth considering that we haven't found a spot yet of just maybe forcing a relocation.
because as it stands, killing it is, I didn't ask to be created, but it's also, we're still not exactly sure if we could kill it if it comes down to it. It's I'm surprised you haven't seen it swimming around, honestly, from up here. Big enough.
Well, I've mainly been noticing it by proxy. There was another thing that was causing me some trouble, although I think it must have solved itself. Something was killing really wantonly in the Belle Dormant for a couple of weeks. I found entire groups of people's sheep that had been slaughtered and dragged into the woods. Families of deer.
That's the Tarrasque's brother, the hunting beast. The questing beast? Well, the same mad magician decided to make a hunting beast. That one we've actually befriended. They're more like a child who just needed to be told that, hunting things means they die and they get hurt. But we actually talked to that one, and we have it working with someone who is trying to teach it to be responsible.
Yeah, so both of these things come from this one guy named Barbarant. He's a mad monster wizard. It's on our to-do list.
Oh, and I pulled this from that one and pulls out the barb. This isn't an attack. I'm just gonna show this thing. This was one of the quills on its back.
He looks at it and he thinks, he's just like, questing beaks are a joy to have in an environment. They do so much. They why would you make one that hurts things unnecessarily? Who is this asshole? I'm sorry, language, but who is this asshole?
His name is Barbarant. He's mad. Like Cuckoo for Coconuts mad.
He's the mad monster magician. They love their alliteration.
He's in our path. We're going to try to.
Oh no, we left the Yales down at the bottom of the tree.
No, you didn't actually. And Duck, Grugan, and Art, as you're having this conversation, you notice something in the corner of your eye, and as you just look slightly away from the conversation, you see Martha has gotten out of the cart and is looking at all the animals. But she's doing the thing that particularly clever kids do, where they pretend they're not listening to the adults, but they clearly are listening to the adults, and actually understanding a bit more than you think someone their age would.
It's just, hey, how'd you get up here?
The cart. She points to the cart. The Yales have followed you.
It is big enough for
Francis.
a cart.
Francis nods.
I'm not.
Yales are very good climbers. Hey, little human.
Yes.
Hey, tall guy.
This is Martha. She's we're bringing her along for a small bit of the journey. We're supposed to take her to one of the next towns, if I remember right. But really, we're gonna bring her all the way to the Mad Wizard because in the historical accuracy of these things, it's usually some plucky young kid. And in
Small
my
child telling a wizard to stop their bullshit. Yeah, that's happened like 50 times.
yeah,
and
and
she
then
is the one who befriended the Trask in the first place.
this is true.
Oh,
Right.
you're an animal lover. Yeah. So what's this about an ecosystem?
Didn't mean to cut you off, Art. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
And Francis begins to unload about his special interest to this 5-year-old who listens with rapt attention.
Oh, he just got an apprentice.
Meanwhile, you sit here surrounded by a shitload of animals. You're in a zoo. And a well-maintained zoo. Imagine that.
That's
And-
crazy.
The session after I get the ability to talk to all of them, it's going to be
Mhm.
weird.
You know, I've heard tales of elephants, but I've never seen one in person before. I didn't
What
think
have
they'd
you
be
found?
so wrinkly.
Unfortunately, Art, most of them sense your ghostly aura and kind of flinch away from you.
Oh, he's not
Oh.
reaching out and petting, he's just watching.
No, I mean, they flinch away from just you being around.
That's fair.
They're used to their bones being in one specific place, I guess. Not getting up and walking around, right?
I think it's the undead thing. You know,
I could ask him.
technic. You could. You just. I don't want to know why they're avoiding me. I have a feeling, and I'd rather not have that spelled out right.
Pat your bony arm sympathetically.
His skin's like dried leather.
Dirty.
To be fair, most of my skin's underneath armor and clothing, so you're fine.
So, Grugan, while you're having this conversation, he's going to inch away and go towards the Cathaneggs and just try to send out come hang out with me vibes.
They actually do. Like they get over to like their side of the fence, and they do just sort of flop down like a big cat and just sort of lay with their heads occasionally swinging from side to side, glancing at their surroundings.
He's gonna sit down cross-legged and go, He likes the magical cats.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense because Skullcrack was right in the middle of the magic lion woods.
Mm-hmm. And lions with a Y are a type of Cathaneg.
So he's just over there vibing with the felines.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an interlude?
We can start an interlude now, yeah.
Duck has a bad idea, and she'll just kind of mention it to the group. It's just like, with how aggressive Pity is, and she definitely seems to have a success rate. If there was 4 Dragon Slayer bodies in there in her collection,
Mhm.
Duck is just bringing this up to the group. And she's like, she might be worthy of asking if for some help later. Although Garston would probably be able to take her down, but she might be useful, if we're doing a larger attack.
Honestly, it's probably just a good idea to warn her that he's wandering around.
Yeah,
At least we got his
But-
armor.
yeah. But with how aggressive she was, she might take that as a challenge and just decide to go. one-on-one and get herself either really hurt or maybe even killed.
Well, I don't think she's the type to leave her lair to do that.
I think we were just unlucky, or she was just unlucky, in that we showed up while she was probably out hunting or something.
Do you think
Yeah.
magic vultures don't hate me?
They might like you too much.
I wouldn't
Well,
take that
going
risk.
by medieval traditions, cats, wolves, carrion birds.
Quotas.
Yeah, I would. I would count them because they're scavengers. Basically, all scavengers would actively seek to do you harm
Mhm.
because they know you're supposed to be dead and you aren't.
Oh, jeez.
Like,
Stay away from the
actually,
hanging
a really
exhibit.
interesting thing about old traditions about vampires is that while vampires can turn into all these scavenging animals, the natural ones are often like instinctually drawn to attack them because they know that thing's supposed to be dead and in the ground.
Oh, that's why the cats were so aggro in the Let the Right One in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm imagining like Art's asking this as like everyone's vibing over by the Catholics, and he's like another 50 feet away. Like, do you think vultures would like me too much, or would they be like too bitey?
Are you asking the Jotun?
No, I'm asking you guys. The Jotun's going off deep with Martha, and I don't want to interrupt him.
They'd probably find you delicious.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to take that sort of risk.
No, that's fair, I suppose. I am a walking buffet in that kind of a sense. Fast food, maybe? I like that term. Because, like, I'm not just lying there, I'm walking towards him, I suppose.
Um,
This is the best conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Monshare, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're on the topic of scavenger animals and things that eat dead things. Why haven't you tried to put me in your pot yet? Should I be insulted?
I tried
Yeah.
at the start, but you said no.
Right. Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. My rule is if it can still talk and whatnot and it's not trying for my throat, I won't try to eat it.
oh, it's if they try to bite you first kind of rule.
Good to know.
Can we talk to the Jotun?
You can.
Could probably go bug Francis now. They've probably gotten far enough in the conversation.
I mean, they might. I mean, Martha's a smart girl that might be able to figure out what to do with the Trask.
At the moment, the Yetun, not
Jotun.
Jotun because Jotuns, yeah, the Yetun, uh, just as an aside, none of you know ogres enough where this difference would matter to your characters. But as a world building thing for those who might be interested, there are four main varieties of Jotunkin. There's normal Jotuns, the frost giants. There's Aotans, which are fire giants. There's Yetun, which are if Jotun are sort of the winter giants and Eotins are the summer giants, then Yettins are the autumn giants, and then there's Ettins, which are the spring giants. In real life, all of those words are just synonyms for Jotun. But I saw that, like, I was like, oh, they're distinct enough where they could make a little family and they could all represent the seasons, and that'd be kind of cute. Yettins specifically, they differ from Jotuns and Eotins in that Jotun horns look like icicles, Eotun horns look like burnt stumps, and Yettin horns look like deer antlers. So yeah, the Yettin, Francis, is talking to Martha, and Martha has begun taking notes about taking care of animals and the importance of ecology on a little notebook of parchment that she has.
I wonder if he might know something that would help our Yale's horns grow back.
It's possible.
Indeed.
Quite. Couldn't hurt to ask.
Also, anything else we needed to talk to them about? Just...
We probably should give him a heads up on the fact that there's an entire Dragon Slayer army coming marching through town on a goblin war. And he says this aloud very distinctly as a tie-in.
Francis noticed that, or...
Sorry, little girl. What now?
Yeah, so one of the reasons we, like gesturing to the crew, are marching around, there is another goblin war. Fourth one. That's why I'm back up and kicking rather than resting like I should. A fourth goblin war going on. So the Bretonche from that side of the river, pointing towards the direction of the river, are coming into Francaine because they want to pillage and steal and take riches from the Francainese people. And if they kill goblins along the way, cool. Humans are stupid.
As you say that, his eyes get wider and wider with panic. He's like,
They don't know you're here.
I left my people to get away from this kind of shit, man. Oh, I'm sorry, little girl.
Trust me, she's heard worse.
From us. She's been traveling with us.
I try not
It's
to.
true.
But, just as a heads up, they might, where we last left them off at, and I'm going to my little map here because I forget things. We last left them off across the river at Champagan, and we fended them off at Melanbrie. So I have a feeling they'd probably try to go either into Lutetia to try to approach and appease about a potential goblin war, but we've started a movement on that. But I could also see them trying to cross where they're in Champagan to Relicon, and then try to march through the Beldomont Woods looking for goblins towards Javoir and Castle Broach. So just as a heads up, if you start seeing people in red, make sure they don't get found.
Kind of been our mission to go around warning people about it.
Okay.
Actually, we should warn Pity when we descend, because the people leading it are Dragon Slayers.
Well, what the hell?
Right?
To be fair, so to give you a bit of a history lesson, for the human side of things. So the guy leading this is Sir George Garston II. I heard the first was alright, but the second, he's a git. And we kind of came in tag in at the last Goblin War, and like I bet you a whole 5 zenith that the rich humans like, oh, we could go do that again. Oh, and they're boosting and poking and try to push up George Gostin's ego, Junior's ego, so that he could go on an invading thing and be like, oh, see, I'm a perfectly good invader, because he's one of those kinds of tools. But he's having a harder time because his brand new shiny dragon slaying armor is in his pot. We stole it off of him. He was wearing it.
In the middle of a battle.
He tries to follow along, nodding, and he's like, this is going to sound a little racist, but, like, you guys are too small to be acting like this, you know?
You're not wrong.
It's bad
Genuinely?
enough. It's bad enough my kind get into all this conquest bullshit.
Oh,
But
I mean,
mean,
that's bad. Like, look at me compared to them. Just imagine goblin politics. That gets convoluted.
I actually know some really nice goblins over in the lake. So I mean,
Oh yeah, we're actually friends with them.
oh yeah, they're lovely, right? Like, no problem with goblins. It's humans,
And actually,
though. I mean,
They're the
you're
ones that
wiping
we
out
know how to deal with the
species.
Trask.
You've got people who kill dragons, and those are keystone animals. You kill a dragon, and the entire ecosystem crumbles.
You're not wrong. The key thing to know about humans is that they're kind of stupid. And if a human is loud and brash enough, they'll put them into power. And once they're sitting on that top, they don't like to give up that top. So there's plenty of perfectly good normal peoples, but they're being forced by this dude who's got all this power and putting this, like, pressure on them to do things. But that's why we're going around and we're letting them know. See, I'll have a really big secret. And this is the first time I'm telling you, Marta. So don't worry. I hope you're clever enough to figure it out already. But I'm not from Frankane. I was Bretnant's last war go around, and then I died. And I woke up in their Hall of the Hallowed Dead with a job to make sure this Goblin War doesn't go off, and I've been doing my darndest to make sure that doesn't happen.
Martha looks at you and she says, "Yeah, it's really obvious. You have a very thick accent in Frankish.
But so many people...
Actual duck laugh.
You hit your consonants way too hard."
I know, but, like... So many
You're
people...
5.
Like, oh,
How do you know
everyone's
those
like-
words yourself?
I read.
Okay.
she's a clever little girl, and that's why we willingly brought her along, so she didn't just go off on her own and
I
get
mean, when
into
I
trouble
was
she
her
didn't
age,
get
I was
over
still
from.
slapping around the swamp.
Right. It's a human thing. You gotta be careful with kids. Sometimes they're more clever than you give them credit for.
I don't think it's just sometimes. I think it's most of the time.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to give you a heads up, because that is important. And if somebody worried about the ecology, an army is going to consume so many resources. So many resources.
And people
Well,
like this,
Okay.
they're not really.
Well, thank you for the horrible fucking news.
Well, yeah, I try not to sugarcoat it too much, but try not to be like,
So we've
ham-fisted
got a
with it.
mad magician that we have to stop, and an army that's just going to cause a ruckus for everybody.
yes.
Jack leans over to Flavian. Should we mention the red caps or just let them be, like, deal with 2 for now?
Flavian can only stare at Duck.
So not. I'll hold on to that until later.
So out of character, and not that Art would know this, but can red cap affect non-fairy beings?
Thankfully, for the most part, no. Red cap disease is so specialized. You know, in the same way that, like, a lot of fairies either lose their magic or, like, just straight up die when they're cut off from fairyland. redcap disease, when in a host that does not have fairy biology, that really magic thick biology, it starts to wither and die. It becomes very ineffective. So like you would have to have spent a long time in fairyland as a non-fairy to be susceptible to it, to make a good environment to it. In which case, you're probably already mutating into a fairy anyway.
Fair enough. That answers my question. Art wouldn't have asked that. I was curious, though.
At the
Yeah.
moment, only Duck and Grugan would be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That's kind of the situation. We're warning villages. We're going around the northern circuit to meet up with some friends who are going around the southern circuit, trying to let humans know, hey, this is going on for human drama. And then we got some tie-ins. We're hitting all the goblin villages because that's more on the northern side, because the humans live on the southern side.
Francis thinks about what you're saying and looks around at his menagerie. I have a lot of these animals really well trained, he says. If you can get this monster magician guy to stop making creatures that supremely fuck up the ecosystem, I could probably provide some of my creatures for the war effort.
It's appreciated as an option. You don't have to feel obligated to do that, though. We were already on his way to stomping his nuts.
Well, this is our country too, and maybe if the people of Frankane saw, if the humans of Frankane saw that the creatures they live alongside are part of their world enough to fight alongside them, maybe they'd value them more.
You know what? That's absolutely valid. What? So, oh man, I'm spacing on it. Hold on. What's her name? The lady who ran Castle Broche. The person running that.
Duchess Marion Bluche.
Yes.
Duchess Bruce of Castle Bloche.
It wasn't in the important NPCs list, so I couldn't remember her last name.
Oh, I haven't
Remember
updated
name.
that in a while. God damn, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, it's kind of empty. Just Marion Bloche would be a perfect person to go talk to. She was very receptive and to supernatural creatures. It was very. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You know this part better than I do.
Just chime in. We actually helped negotiate trade and friendship between the Goblin Village and the lake and them, and they're helping the humans figure out how to keep the Tarrasque from eating their ships or going on land and eating people in their homes.
And especially if we can come up with a solution to the Tarrasque problem, I feel like we could then stop. You could really help build that and show here's what happens if you guys act like the Tarrasque and why they should help take care of the lake. And then the woods, and then the whole natural world around them. You gotta do it in baby steps.
All right. Yeah. And so there we have our condition to get elephants and wolves and lions on the hero side of the war. You must stop Barbarant from releasing horrible genetic monstrosities into the ecosystem.
We're just gonna punch him in the nuts. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then have a child chastise him.
Deploy
As
the shade
he's-
child.
Yeah. Right after he gets kicked in the nuts, have the child scold him while he's in the floor in the fetal position.
Mhm.
In a
On the
fetal
floor.
position.
So, should we go over here?
Oh,
we discussed that, but I think I came back like right at the tail end of it.
maybe we could ask. Do you know anything about the Goblin Fortress? I don't know if you could probably see it up from here pretty
Oh.
well.
That one, and he points over to what is on your map, Fort Morago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a bit. I haven't talked to anyone over there, but I've seen them, over the past 100 years, growing a bit. I think it started off as a very small settlement, but it's been growing and growing over the last few decades. A lot of them, well, here, and he takes out a very huge, looking telescope, and shows it to you, so you can actually look at the fortress and you see everyone there. And some of the warriors are wearing very old armor, patrolling the walls, and the armor has a red lidded eye painted on it.
Does that seem familiar to Dr. Krugen as a symbol?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. Both of you would be vaguely aware of the circumstances of the first Goblin War, which was only called such retroactively. At the time, it was called the conflict with with Demon Lord Morkill, a horrible sorcerer and witch named Lord Morkill tried to take over the kingdom of Engelsex with an army composed of phantom soldiers, a bunch of pissed off ogres, and many, many tribes of exiled goblins as basically cannon fodder. So it would stand to reason that the people at this fortress are either a remnant of Lord Morkill's army, or are at the very least wearing armor scavenged from remnants of his army.
That's gonna be a problem.
They might have an invested interest, though, in kicking some Raton's butt, though.
Mm-hmm.
They should still at least
That-
be warned.
That might be one where it's best that you two go into the town and the rest of us stay outside. Well,
Unless we can find a
Monsieur,
way to.
Monsieur, you might be able to get in, no problem.
Maybe.
We might be able to tweak our glamours so that it turns, get you some fairy disguises.
Furries see through that easier than humans do.
Yeah, true. But it'll still be funny.
So this is a quiet Arthur fear, but I'm just worried somebody in there is going to recognize me, and I don't want to deal with that. Now, I know it was a human feller, and I fought mostly humans, but there were a couple of times we clashed against goblins, and I don't want to be like, oh hi, I'm the human corpse from the third one, you remember me?
I mean, just don't say that. They probably won't recognize you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my whole pitch has been I've been going around announcing who the fuck I am. It's hard to turn off.
I mean, your pitch might be actually what sells you on them. Or sells them on you. Like, no, you don't like this either? All right. You're willing to go up against other humans? That's even better.
My only concern is the bridge.
Yeah. Actually, Francis, do you have anything that could, maybe fly us down there quickly?
Oh yeah, and he takes you up a level of his menagerie to an area where there are a bunch of aviaries. Although calling them that implies that the birds are trapped when actually they're free to come and go as they please. I guess it's more just protected nests.
Roost.
And there are several dozen rucks, just these
Ooh.
eagles the size of ceratosaurs, perched on tree branches.
That suddenly feels very small and eatable.
The gigantic eagles look at you all, looming high, and caw. And Francis waves to them. Hey guys, any one of these fine lads or ladies would be glad to take you down.
Well, and
Duck,
Grugan's gonna turn to the rest of you besides Duck, and he's gonna ask, "Do you want to stay here, and we'll just go down and let them know and come back?"
As that question lingers, one of the eagles screeches very quietly, and those of you who can speak bird hear it say, "Fish?" As it looks at you all very expectantly.
we're going to go. Duck will look at it and go, we might fly. We're going to fly past the river. Could dive down and maybe snatch up a fish.
River
On the way
have
back?
fish. River have fish.
Yeah. They'll do it for fish.
And just, I do want to point out, I read my actual physical copy of Fabula Ultima, so I got some of this information actually got itself into my brain, other than, reading a PDF. You're kind of encouraged to split the party sometimes.
Yeah.
If the rest of you aren't comfortable going into this this fairy fort.
But we can determine that next time on Fabula Ultima, because we are hitting Shady's midnight hour.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. But feel free to have an interlude scene, forge some bonds, and you are going to recover HP, MP, and IP while you're up here, because Francis's abode is very well stocked.
Since the rest of you are at 3, I'm going to put admiration for Martha, because that was really fucking funny.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna do the same. Because I don't have Martha bonded yet.
Let me know when the rest of you are done with that, so I'll stop the recording then.
I don't really got anything to
Right.
say so far.
One last thing before we go, I'd like to know, where are we going next? Are we thinking Fort Morago? Or are we going to try to head to Merlot? I need to know which one to prepare.
I think we should go to Fort Morago because it's right there and we have birds.
Yeah.
It's kind of an in and out with Fort Morago, yeah.
And
It's like,
it would
hey.
be funny if we did bring everyone. Because remember, Flavian, Flavian's original motivation was, maybe I can do established trade with Goblinkin.
That is true.
That is true.
Mhm.
I'm going to take the risk.
Indeed. Yeah. Risk it for the biscuit.
Also, Duck wants to go talk to Pity. Next time.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Sounds like Fort Morago.
All right, Fort Morago it is.
Okay.
Very good.